Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. Welcome back to Hut's Gaming GT3 League on Assetto Corsa Competizione. Apologies for the fact that there's no standings. I wasn't given them. We're here for round 5 of the season at the Silverstone circuit, the full circuit. I've just remembered I need to turn the the game audio up. Oh, and also the game capture is set to something else. Come on. Is that gonna work? There we go. Yes, for whatever reason, the Assetto Corsa Competizione does not like Streamlabs that much. I have to get it to target the specific EXE. And let's find... Where's the volume mixer gone? There we go. Bring that up to 70%. There we go. Unfortunately... Well, okay. So this is still free practice at the minute. And we can see there's just 12 drivers on the track at the minute. As free practice winding down in the final few minutes, it seems that the session itself started a bit too late. And as you can see, it's going to be a night race. The car stopped on track. That's Christian Dawn in the M4. We'll also note that we had a... Where's it gone? There we go. Vinegar and the brand new Ferrari 296 GT3. This car was only released in the past couple of days, though I think you can only get it through the DLC. I don't think it's actually been introduced to the base game, but I could be wrong. We also have the older 488 GT3. A couple of drivers actually gonna take the 296 out, including Isti. Whilst Metternich here is probably gonna try his luck with the older vehicle. Still GT3 regulations, but I would expect that the older car would be slower as Metternich comes into the pit lane here. And this is the old pit lane, the national pit lane, or the old F1 pit lane. Time will be allowed to expire according to Jabber. So this is just practice. Qualifying will begin in about 5 minutes' time. Just keep things in this screen for now. I know it's not the greatest screen, but it gives us a few little clues, sort of, and of course the schedule. We have qualifying, 8 minutes, and then a 20-minute sprint race. Then we have another set of qualifying, and then a longer sort of feature race. This is to try and spice things up a little, as the first two races that I commentated this year, well, for this season, they were not the most exciting. In fact, I was very close to falling asleep, actually, on more than one occasion. Felt like nothing was happening. Let's take a look at this 296. Take a listen to that. I think it's a twin-turbo V6. It's not the V8 that the 488 has. I think it is a V6. You know, I can check that. I do have something open. If I can find it. Ferrari 296. It does indeed have a V6 engine. Quite Quite rare for a Ferrari these days to have a V6. I don't know when the last one was. You know, except for F1 cars. I'm clicking on the wrong thing. Oh, Jabber getting a bit adventurous over there. Unfortunately, he's driving an Aston Martin Vantage, not the USS Enterprise. And you'll probably hear me munching a bit. I'm eating some flips. Milk chocolate coated pretzels. Yummy. A minute of practice left. Of course, that's not going to be quite how things go, as Slovik appears to have had not sure what happened there. Maybe he ran out of fuel. We do have a Porsche, actually. Sherlock, number 72. I bet it's the closest number you can get to 71 in this game. And this also looks like a 2023 GT3 car. What with the glowing numbers on the side. Then again, all of them have glowing numbers. Okay, ignore me. But it definitely looks a bit different. It does appear to be a 992 Porsche. Free practice is now over. There's 3 minutes of wait time left. Every car that crosses the line, well, they'll have to come into the pits. Fusion in his McLaren. Is he going to come into the pits? No, he's going to finish his current lap. Car number 55 will be next. Metternich, he decides to just pull off on the Wellington Straight. And then we have... which car is that? The 72. We've lost it. Sherlock with Vinegar in the 296 behind. And definitely sounds different. This is definitely a 2023 GT3 car. Oh, and it instantly... okay.
Green light, go, go, go.
I guess we're in qualifying now. And indeed we are now in qualifying, so... bring up the broadcasting thingy-majig. And figure out how do I switch. There we go. So first car out is the number 69 of Christian Dawn, the Cybergrass M4 GT3. Next it will be the number 55 488 GT3 even, of Jesse Metternich, and he's got the Porsche 992 RSR of Sherlock behind. It's getting a bit racy already. No penalties racing. Slovik in an Aston Martin behind, and then there's Jabber also in an Aston Martin. Oh, and Vinegar's already had a spin in the GT3. He's found the runoff at Beckett's, I believe that is. Exit of Maggots, beginning of Beckett's, and then we've got this sort of right-hander here, which I think is called Chapel. I should know this, I'm British. Angel in that glorious Audi R8. And then Bomber Cloud in the not so glorious Continental GT. Now there's the other 296. SD104 has traded in his 488 for this 296. And we'll watch Dawn here, as he's just seconds away from starting his flying lap. So fast lap around here is going to be around 2 minutes, give or take a couple of seconds. What can the M4 do? Into Maggots, then into Beckett's, and then he's going to be foot hard to the floor, down the hangar straight. Which buttons do I want? Which camera? I don't know. Through Stowe he goes, and then down towards the Vale chicane and the F1 pit lane. Well, the F1 pit straight. The Hamilton Straight is what I believe it's called now. Then towards Abbey, which for a very long time was a left-hander, now it's a right-hander. Just remembered. I ought to have brought up this onto my phone just to make sure everything is working. Typical, they decided not to tell me that the stream was active on the phone. There's been no chat messages anyway, so that's fine, I guess. Through Luffield and Brooklands and Luffield, and then Woodcote, the final stretch to the start-finish line. Where is Christian Dawn going to put his BMW as he gets a bit squirrely on the run to the line? It's a 2:02.557. Sherlock will be next in the Porsche 992. Sounds a lot better than that M4, and he immediately beats Christian Dawn. Metternich will then go just behind Sherlock. Slovic in the Aston Martin. 2 Aston Martins in a row. Slovic and then Jabber takes P3. The number 3 of Vinny Vinegar, or Vic Vinegar, across the line, and instantly goes at P1, provisional pole, with a 2-minute 0.9. Bombaclat, what can he do in the big old Bentley? Across the line himself, 2:02.157. Beats Slovic, cannot beat Jabber. Brian Wilson, in the first of the 2 Audi R8s, has invalidated his lap by the looks of things. Lero Fusion has also invalidated. Angel, next across the line. Where can he put his car? He has also invalidated. 220.5 as well. ISTY 104, 159.182. We don't actually have Tom around today, so Isty looks like he's going to be dominating the race unless someone else can bring him a bit of a challenge. Spicy Boy has not set a lap time. Well, a representative lap time. As car number 420, Fabian Krebs has yet to leave the pit lane. I wonder if he has a quali ban. Christian Dawn comes around again to set a newer lap time. It's a bit faster than before, but not by a huge amount. Then we have Sherlock once again. With only 1:15 of the session remaining, Sherlock does improve. Leapfrogs Vic Vinegar to P2 as Metternich appears to have run out of fuel just after finishing his flying lap. Slovic also improves. Where did Jabber go? I don't know where Jabber went. That's irritating. I'm losing track of everyone now. There's Jabber. He did improve on that previous lap. As Vic did also re-leapfrog Sherlock and took back P2. Fusion will be next across the line, followed by Brian Wilson, the McLaren and the Audi. Fusion does have a lap time, it's not great. Brian Wilson still has an invalid lap time. Angel across the line next, 2:05.532, currently slowest of the registered runners, as someone else has just come to a stop. I think that was the 1:11 of Spicy Boy. No, it wasn't, it was someone else. Spicy Boy will is approaching the lap time. The start-finish line even. 2:03.945, but he invalidated as well. So he's going to start the sprint dead last. Christian Dawn going to try and improve his lap time one final time. And he does, but only by about 1/10 of a second. Sherlock will be next across the line for his final flying lap here. Essentially 3 fast laps available, and Sherlock does not improve. Slovic. Jabber appears to have run out of fuel somewhere. What can Alexei Slovic do? He does improve, but not by a huge amount. What about Big Vic? What can he do? And the 296 GT3 crosses the line. It is an improvement, but not enough of an improvement. And then Bomberclat. His last lap was 2 seconds clear, well, 2 seconds shy of his previous best. What can he do on this final attempt? 2:01.517, he does improve. It's a decent lap. And finally, Fusion, well, and Isti actually, had a bit of a cool-down lap on the previous go-around. Fusion improves, but it's not enough to move up the field. Can Isti improve his pole position time? He did, to 1:58.9. It does look like Isti 104 is going to be running away with the race. Oh, I missed out Spicy Boy, but then again, he's just an AI by the looks of things right now. There we go. There we go, he's finally coming in. So, 2 minutes to session start for the sprint race. Nighttime sprint race too. My mouth is watering because I keep eating these pretzels. Ouch. Right, 1 minute 10 seconds. We'll jump into the session. I wish I had something to drink. Something that looks quick and easy to access. Where's the Coca-Cola tap when you need one? 35 seconds to go. 30 seconds until the start of the Grand Prix, the race, the session. It's Ferraris in positions 1, 2, and 4. It does seem that the 296 is a pretty decent car. 5 seconds to go until we get moving. Should be rolling anyway. I just realised that Isti's car does not have a number on it, so something's gone wrong there. Maybe I'm missing a skin. But the flag is about to fall. The lights will go out and let these cars go on the 20-minute sprint any moment now. And there we go. The race has got underway, and it looked like Sherlock was going to try and take a look up the inside of Vic. He's still going side by side with Metternich in the Sol 488. He's still going side by side, but he's going to have to let Metternich pass. Oh no, there's collision! Metternich got a bit too deep into Maggots and he's spun. Where did he go? Well, Sherlock has lost out tremendously. He's now down in to the lower echelons of the field, and Metternich has lost out. He's way behind now. Meanwhile, Isti has pulled away, ouch, quite substantially. I've just remembered there's all kinds of buttons I can still be pressing. There we go. I just need to check that yes. Okay. There we go. I did accidentally mute the game for a brief moment. But already, Isti is 2 seconds ahead of Vic. So it goes to show that Isti, quite the superior driver. Jabber going wide into village or farm or whatever it's called, and getting a bit argy-bargy with that's Krebs in the M4. Slovik losing out to Christian Dorn, and the return. Ooh, which car was it? Oh, that's Spicy Boy. Oh, that isn't. I've made mistakes. Metternich is not in the Sol 488. Spicy Boy is also in a 488. So I've made some mistakes. Never mind. We all make them sometimes. Angel appears to have lost out quite a bit. He's usually up in the top half of the field. He isn't, though, and yeah, these two Ferrari 296s are pulling away from the rest of the field. Now, that could just be because the rest of the field is fighting amongst themselves, but it could also be that the 296 is just better, as Bomberclat had a bit of a mistake or something going into Maggots, and he's basically cut Beckett completely. He's lost out quite a bit, and now fourth place is inherited by Laurel Fusion, but he's under threat from Fabian Krebs in the M4 GT3. Going a bit wide on the exit of Stowe, and into Vale with Krebs trying to look at the inside. Well, that M4, well, it's not quite the M8 GTE, but it's still quite a big vehicle. especially compared to the 720S here. It looks like there's a car going quite wide. That is Brian Wilson making way for most of the field. I wonder if he has an issue of some description. He just sort of pulled off and let the rest of the field go. Isti, or his already healthy lead, is becoming even more healthy. 3.5 seconds from Vic Vinegar, who has 5.8 seconds on Fusion behind. Jabber ahead of Slovik. I don't know what's happened with Slovik. He was ahead of Jabber, but now he's behind. And there's Spicy Boy behind him too for a bit of company. Isti going purple again and again. Bit of dust as someone's brushed the inside of Cops. And Jabber going quite wide on the exit of Cops too. Slovik looking rather slow and proving out to be a bit of a roadblock for Spicy Boy's Ferrari here. Having a bit of some kind of lag issue going on. Cars aren't quite sort of jumping around a bit. Whoa, looks like Krebs was gonna try and make a move on Fusion. They were very close on the track map, but that gap has grown quite a bit, so I think Krebs tried to make a move, but it didn't quite work out for him. The stream is stuttering a lot. I've just noticed that, and I am using performance mode, so... Whoa. It's really bad. Okay, I'm gonna see if this helps. Oh, you know, I would see if it would help if it, Come on. There we go. There was something. Keep an eye on the frame rate. It's fine on my end, but it wasn't doing so well on the stream end. Anyway, Krebs getting closer to Fusion once again. Will he be able to make the challenge into Stowe once more? Jabber going wide at Cops again. And that's not going to help him in keeping the distance to Slovik and Spicy Boy behind. And there's possibly Sherlock catching up behind as well. Trying to make up for his lost time, the time he lost after being essentially punted off the track by Metternich, who is right behind him. Well, I say right behind, 3.6 seconds, but they have flown through the field whilst Bomberclat, something's gone wrong for him. He was in 5th at one point, and now he's down in 12th. Meanwhile, Angel, I think he's picked up damage and he's stopped. Meanwhile, the two 296s flying off into the distance. And Fusion still under threat from Fabian Krebs. And I've got to wonder if this is a car difference or a skill issue. That Fusion is just not able to pull away from the M4. Yes, thank you. Thank you, phone. I've just pressed the wrong button. And actually, whilst I was distracted by my phone being a a doofus. Oh, there's the replay at least. Krebs got up the inside of Luffield and took the position from Fusion. And now what can Fusion do? Can he take that last place on the podium back? Well, he might be able to, but it's going to be difficult. He does seem to be just a bit slower than Fabian Krebs. Slovic, meanwhile, under threat from 3 cars behind. Jabber, Sherlock and Spicy Boy, who's actually been overtaken by Sherlock. Sherlock just flying compared to these guys. Just seemed the 2023 Porsche 992 is a bit better than the Aston Martin Vantages here. Jabber has actually been overtaken by Slovic. Flashing his lights, let me past! I want to get past! I am faster than you! Sherlock is faster than you! However it goes, Jabber defending like a lion, doing his best in that pig of an Aston Martin. Doing quite well, but it's costing him time to the car in front, the other Aston Martin of Alexei Slovic.
We are at the halfway mark. Keep pushing.
Yes, thank you. There's a great big bright light. I believe that is Metinic's 488. I've seen those lights in the 488s before. Very different arrangement on Metinic's car. Someone pulled into the pit lane. Oh, there has been an incident of some description. Angel has gone off at Luffield. He did eventually come out back out onto the racetrack, but he's 2 laps down. Yikes. Not a good race for the 2 Audi R8s. Not a good race at all. And it's not looking like it's been a particularly good first sector for Sherlock, as he's now under threat from Spicy Boy behind, who is going to try and... He's taking a look around the outside. I don't think it's going to work. Sherlock, with the inside, is able to hold off the threat of the 488. Ooh, a bit of a wobble, possibly. Sherlock has to stay on the attack here, but he's been... I don't know if that was a punt there. He's lost out to Spicy Boy. Let's see what the replay says about that. He might have been punted, but he definitely hit the sausage curb, and that's caused Sherlock to lose some time. I wonder if he's picked up damage from that little 4-8. Jabber now trying to... oh, never mind. He's not trying to defend from anyone anymore because he's gone deep into Brooklands, and that's allowing Spicy Boy to get past by the time they exit Luffield, and Sherlock also taking the opportunity to capitalize off of Jabber's mistake. Whoa! Spaceship! Oh my god, what is going on? What? I have no idea what's happened here. I think Sherlock has had a internet disconnection issue of some description. Yeah, that's an odd one. doesn't. It's definitely not on my end. Because otherwise I'd still be streaming. Wouldn't be streaming anymore. And I wouldn't be able to watch either. So now Spicy Boy gaining on Slovik. The golden Aston Martin versus the red and white Ferrari 488 GT3. And they're making inroads on Fusion ahead as well. Fusion has lost about 5 seconds to Fabian Krebs. That's insane. I wonder if he's made a few mistakes. Meanwhile, Spicy Boy catching Slovik. Has Slovik got a little flag on his car? I swear there is a flag on his roof. Meanwhile, Sherlock is still upturned on the exit of cops. I have no idea what's going on with Sherlock. I think the stream might be dead. Hang on. I don't know how things are going. Might still be active. Seem to be having some kind of technical issues going on. Four minutes and 21 seconds left remaining of the race. Yeah, okay, it's live. It's just a few seconds behind. And Spicy Boy still trying to overtake Slovik. But I don't think he's had a very poor farm/village section. He's lost a great deal of time to the Aston Martin ahead, who is now closer to Fusion. And Fusion going quite deep into Brooklands. The narrow line isn't helping Slovik through Luffield either. But, well, Slovik is running out of time if he wants to try and get past that McLaren for P4 of the sprint. Oh, and Fusion takes it a bit too deep, and he's lost a heap of time. He was sliding, drifting through that corner, can't-side drifter and all. Spicy Boy takes the position as well, but almost lost it. He got a big tank slapper, but is able to hold on. And now Metternich is catching as we finally have lost Sherlock. He's finally disconnected. And Metternich, Fusion to have lost 2 positions in the space of 2 corners. Yikes. Oh! What happened there? I looked away for 1 second and suddenly Metternich is... the Ferrari is bouncing up and down. I do at least have the replay. What happened here? Oh, it looks like he locked up his rear brakes and went sideways over the sausage curb. So I'd expect his car has a bit of damage now. Who thought it was a good idea to put ramps on a racetrack? Yeah. Bomberclat going deep into Village. Quite an interesting line. Is Christian Dawn trying to take 8th position from Big Jabber. But he has less than 2 minutes to, less than 2 minutes to take that final position. A minute and 30 seconds, actually. And it looks like Jabber doing his level best to give Dawn the position. Across the line for what I'm pretty sure is going to be the final lap of this race, and Jabber dutifully gets out of the way, goes wide at Copse again, and hands position 8 to Christian Dawn. Meanwhile, Spicy Boy getting more and more desperate to get past Alexei Shlovik, and it's just getting... He's definitely feeling the pressure. He wants P4, but he's just not able to do it. With 30 seconds left in the race, Isti 104, meanwhile, has been absolutely imperious, as I expected. In fact, I think he's going to reach the finish line before the timer counts down. Though he could just wait a bit if he wanted. I don't think he's going to wait. He's going to do... He's done one final lap. He could have waited if he wanted. He would have had more than enough time, as Sherlock has actually managed to rejoin. But he's out of the race. Big Vic crosses the line. He's technically on the final lap now. Yeah, Isti could have waited for that thingamajig with the checkered flag to go. So, Spicy Boy gets another lap to try and get past the Aston Martin. It's push now. All push to the end of the race. 2 minutes of just all-out attack. This is the only real battle on the track right now. What can Spicy Boy do? Shlovik is going to do his level best to make that the widest Aston Martin in the world. And Spicy Boy has got to make this the fastest Ferrari 488 in the world. He's probably wishing he had a little bit less wing on his car. Oh, and Shlovik! Oh! It looked like both of them were going to make spins at some point. Shlovik going a bit too deep into Stowe. Spicy Boy looking like he was locking up the rear brakes. There's not many chances for an overtake left, as Isti has finally lapped someone. I think that's Brian Wilson he's lapped in the Audi R8. He'll be coming in to Brooklands in just a couple of seconds' time as Spicy Boy goes up the inside. But a Formula 1 car, this is not. He might have been able to be lost to the late breakers there, but it just wasn't quite enough. He'll have one final opportunity into Brooklands as Isti, going slowly. Isti, I think, has run out of fuel. I'm not sure. No, he was just going slowly.
Leader has finished the race.
What? Did Isti just gift Vinegar the win? What kind of... Why? Meanwhile, Shlovik manages to hold off Spicy Boy. 0.273 between them. It did look like Isti ran out of fuel, but I think he just lifted off and let Vic take the win. Why? What's the point? You led every single lap, and then you decide you're just gonna slow down on the final corner and let the driver who is 19 seconds behind take the win. Oh dear. Right, so we have another 8-minute long qualifying session. And then we'll have the 40-minute long race. Yeah. Nothing is happening. We should be in the second quali session right now. There we go. Typical.
Green light, give it all you can.
It took so long, I was about to sit back and finish the rest of my pretzels, but nope. My stream's frozen again. these technical issues. I need to talk with Jabba. I'm probably wondering why I'm not talking much. I just don't have anything to say. Oh, and the stream's frozen again. Wonderful. Absolutely fraggin' wonderful. Come on. What's going on? Gonna be a mixed up grid at least. Sherlock's gonna take pole. Isty hasn't even set a lap time. He's not even come out. That's an pretty odd one. It looks like the 3 podium sitters have stayed in the pits, as Bumbleclat has not come out at all, neither has Jabba. Yeah, the 20-minute race was long enough as it was. But the 40-minute race. Oh my god, it's gonna be horrific to to watch. It'll be about two, maybe 3 laps of half decent racing, and then we're gonna get 40 minutes of nothing. What? Spicy Boy's just taken pole. What? That came out of nowhere. Spicy Boy, of all people, has just taken pole. He blitzed Sherlock's time. How has that happened? Sherlock's gotta be fuming. Thought he was safe. And then Spicy comes out of nowhere. Jack Spicer. What is Shlovik doing? He's just sitting on the track at Cops. Right, so Isti, fastest man on track, is going to be starting in 10th. Meanwhile, Spicy Boy, not the fastest driver, is going to be starting in pole position, alongside Sherlock, who I reckon is probably going to be in a decent chance of victory, or well, if this was the 20-minute race, maybe. But Isti is going to be cutting his way through the field. He's got the rear end of the other 256 ahead of him, 296 even, and the Audi R8 of Angel. <sighs> 50 seconds until session start. And a bit more than that until the lights go green. We'll watch from the helicopter for this one, as Spicy has... I think he's finished his setup or whatever. And the engines on the cars are starting up. Gentlemen, start your engines. Only 13 drivers. Ugh. 3, 2, 1, session start. The cars will be rolling momentarily. Here they go. Oh, Sherlock getting a bit racy already. He forgot that this is not Formula 1. Lights currently red. They'll go green shortly after they cross the start-finish line. Sherlock already alongside anticipating the start, and there we go, green lights. And Sherlock immediately into the lead, and P1, oh, by turn 1, and that Slovak getting spun around by Lero Fusion. Got collected by someone else, I think that was Vix 296, and there's more contact. Fusion then gets a bit of karma, bouncing off the left-hand side of Vix 296. Meanwhile, Isti still in 10th, but he's got Jabba ahead, so he's actually gained a position but also lost one. Actually, no, he's not in 10th, that's just the game not catching up yet. He is in P8, but he's somehow lost out to Jabba, of all people. So Sherlock not flying off into the distance like Isti was in the previous race. They're going to have a lot more fuel on board. I don't think you can refuel in this game, or maybe you can. I would expect you would be able to refuel anyway. Isti having to lift off as they go into the F1 turn 1. Abbey, that's what it's called. Jabba going quite wide. He's not a particularly... He's just manhandling that Aston Martin. He's not able to... He doesn't have the finesse of Isti, by the looks of things. Isti not yet able to get past. Gonna be a bit deeper on the brakes. Not gonna help him out just yet. But he manages to take the inside out of Luffield and up into P7. So Isti going to make his way up the field. Bomberclat into P10 himself. Fusion and Shlovic, the two who came together earlier, now fighting side by side, and I think Fusion has a bit more damage than Shlovic does. Still side by side through Cops, though Fusion has to settle for last place at the minute. Sherlock not flying off into the distance. He's still got Spicy Boy for company. 0.4 of a second between them. If this was F1, we'd get DRS. Instead, it's GT3, so we don't. Balance of power and all that. Or balance of performance, I guess it's technically called. Meanwhile, Fabian Krebs getting very close to Vinegar in front, but don't count Isti out just yet. Like the technical winner of the sprint, already way ahead, and Fusion is in the pit lane, even though I'm pretty sure he passed at the pit lane. I think he's retired. He's retired from the race, I would imagine. Now that the two 296s are bogged down in traffic, I wonder how effective the more vanilla cars are going to be faring here. Krebs is catching Vic, but Isti is also catching Krebs. So what can Isti do as they begin another lap here? Fastest lap for Isti so far, and in fact fastest lap of the entire session. Isti absolutely flying as they go into the Maggots and Beckett's section. So Isti did get a bit off-put by the proximity to Krebs' BMW, and he's lost a bit of time. Not a huge amount of time. He's able to make the time back up on the exit of Beckett's. I'd like a better camera, please. stupid headphones. Ugh. They seem to just want to die. Oh yes, I'll be run over by the chair. Thank you very much. And then when you pull the chair back out, when you come back into the room, I'm gonna get caught on the wheels and then fall off from where you've put them and potentially break. And now they got caught onto my knee as Isti makes contact with Krebs. Oh dear, that's not what you want to see. Really not what you want to see. There you go. It's frozen again on my phone. I'm at my wit's end with this. Krebs down in almost last place at P11 as Sherlock still not able to shake off Spicy Boy, with Metternich just behind. Vinegar pulling away from the cars behind. Isti has managed to get past Christian Dawn. So both of the Ferrari 296s got past the BMW. Though Isti, I reckon, is going to have a bit of an investigation after the race, looking into whether or not that collision between him and Krebs was preventable. Which I would imagine it was. Oh, hang on. There's a spin. Car number 72 is off. What happened to Sherlock has gone into Vale. Our race leader has screwed up, and now he's down in 8th. He's been passed by Jabber, which means Spicy Boy, of all people, is leading. And now this is all that Metternich needs. Jesse Metternich needs to put his foot down and start chasing the other 488 GT3. Well, start to close the gap at least. But it's a Ferrari 1, 2, 3, and 4. Vic Vinegar and Isti 104 are also close behind. They can close that gap, given their pace from the previous race this evening. I would imagine that Isti is going to be absolutely flying along. I don't imagine that they're going to be working together. Oh, Spicy Boy is not leading anymore. He's made a mistake into cops, which means Jesse Metternich is the leader of the race now. We've had 2 changes of race lead in the space of a lap. In fact, it was about the space of half a lap. So when Metternich crossed the sector line, the gap between him and Vic, 3.358 seconds. Between Vic and Isti, 0.462. And Spicy Boy actually still in 4th. So it's still a Ferrari 1, 2, 3, 4 as Jabber went horrifically wide at Stowe. Stop track extending, Jabber. Where's Sherlock gone? There he is. He's ahead of Jabber. It says he's behind. We need to get to cross another sector split line. Sherlock got to make up the time that he lost after making that mistake into Vale. At least I'm assuming it was a mistake. If the stream on my phone would stop freezing. Meanwhile, Isti getting closer and closer to Vic in front. But the gap is actually falling. 4.099 seconds between Metternich and Vinegar now. Vic, even. And Vic just fighting more with Isti than he is trying to catch Metternich. Though going that wide at Copse, it doesn't quite open the door for Isti, but it's going to make it a lot easier for the Scuderia Ferrari 296 to get past. Oh, Isti makes a mistake! Maggots claims another victim. This is chaos. You wanted action, well, you're getting it. As now Christian Dawn right behind Sherlock. Oh, has to take evasive action to avoid going into the rear end of the Porsche. Very nearly took Sherlock out of the race completely then. I don't know if Sherlock is just slower than Christian, or if Christian's just put in a really good lap. I mean, either way, one's faster. Oh, that's the wrong button. Isti down in 7th now. Sherlock 2 seconds behind Spicy Boy. We'll see if he can close that gap. Meanwhile, Vic is not able to close the gap to Jesse Metternich at the minute. It's been more or less stable in the 4-second region. 4.1 seconds-ish. We'll get an idea of what the gap is in just a couple of seconds as Metternich crosses the line. Vic follows suit, and the gap is now 3.6 seconds. So Vic is beginning to reel the older 488 in. Metternich is using VR technology to drive this race today. So he's able to actually look around a bit. The gap between Vic and Spicy Boy, 2.8 seconds. And 3.3 seconds between Spicy Boy and Sherlock. Oh, there's another car going deep. That's Jabber. Jabber keeps going deep. And he's losing positions because of it. So Isti, 104, into 5th place now, and able to start chasing down Sherlock and turn it into a Ferrari 1, 2, 3, 4 again. He's got a lot of work to do, though. We're 6 laps into this race. Already had quite a bit of action. Bit of chaos. We've actually lost a couple of drivers. We had 13. Yeah, Fusion was one of them. He's retired. Shlovic is still around. Who else have we lost? I don't know. Who else did we have? Bomberclat is still around. Huh. It's odd. Six people watching. The gap between Sherlock and Isti was 1.7, 1.5 seconds now. Isti is catching Sherlock by a couple of tenths every sector. Vic has closed the gap to Metternich to 2.6 seconds. So Vic flying along. He doesn't have the fastest lap though, and I imagine that there will be pit stops along the line for some of these drivers. In fact, most if not all of the drivers. Isti closed the gap by 0.4 of a second. He's catching Sherlock at a rate of knots. The move is coming. He's got to make up for that mistake he made earlier. Meanwhile, the gap between Metternich and Vic appears to have grown a bit. 2.7 seconds at the last sector split. The second sector split is after the sort of hairpin left in the village section. Just a couple of turns. I think Vic has lost time. 2.7. So he's pushed and he's lost out a bit. He's actually lost time to Spicy Boy. The gap between Sherlock and Isti, 0.639. The move is coming, but there's going to be a bit of dirty air involved. I'm not sure how much dirty air affects GT cars. I know it's quite... It affects single-seater racers a lot more, like Formula 1 and Formula 2. With this, not sure. 0.409. I wonder if the next sector split is going to be 0.104. The move is coming. Sherlock didn't have a great exit out of Cops. Isti going side by side through Maggots, though has to lift off a bit going into Beckett's. But the proof is right there. Sherlock, the slower of the two drivers, and he's once again not had a brilliant exit out of Beckett's, and he is just behind going into Stowe. He's braking later, trying to hold on to P4, but it's not enough. Isti takes P4 just, but Sherlock, can he fight back going into Vale? He's got to do his best. He's keeping Isti honest here. They were neck and neck over the sector split, actually. 0 seconds down to 3 decimal places. Sherlock, credit where credit is due. He is holding on. Just about. That the camera is actually focusing on both drivers here. The gap is 0.5 of a second. Isti holding on for dear life, but it's only a matter of time before he loses touch to Isti. Though he's going deep into Brooklands, and that might be what cements his position in 5th at this race. With just under 22 minutes to go. And the gap has grown. Sherlock, he put up a brave fight. In the end, it wasn't enough. Also, Spicy Boy catching Vic still. Whilst Vic has sort of petered out at about 2.4 seconds to Metternich. But the gap between Spicy Boy and Isti will certainly be closing by now. It was 2.5 seconds, it's now 2.2 at the second, well, at the first of the sector splits here. And Vic is still sort of losing touch to Metternich. Metternich has been able to hold on to the lead here in the older Ferrari 488. He's got two 296s and another 488 trying to chase him down. And it does look like that Spicy Boy could be able to make the move on Vinegar. Vic Vinegar. Vinegar. .1 seconds now. It was 1.4 at the previous sector split. Spicy Boy is catching Vic, whilst Vic is losing touch to Metternich now. 3 seconds. But I think Metternich has actually had a bit of a moment, saw a bit of dust ahead of Vinegar there. Oh, and there's been a spin. Number 42. No, the number 420 of Krebs has had a spin at the second sector split. 2 laps down, apparently. The battle for third is just beginning. Spicy Boy has been putting in some excellent laps, catching Vic in the superior 296. I do wonder if there are going to be any pit stops here. Spicy taking a look up the inside, and he has the move. Oh no, Metternich is going round, and Spicy takes the lead again. He takes the lead. Metternich was holding on to P1 for so long, and then he just makes one mistake. But now Spicy Boy has both of the 296s behind him, including the absolutely rapid Isti 104. Vic has been just a bit off the pace for these past few laps. Not to mention Sherlock gradually catching too. This is not really where Spicy Boy would have wanted to be. There's 0.8 of a second between the 3 leaders. Half a second back to Vic, and just less than 0.4 to Isti. Oh, Isti taking a bit too much inner curb there. And Isti trying to go around the outside of Luffield. Not working out just yet. But Vic, definitely the slower of the 296s. Sherlock actually catching as these two are fighting. Vic is not going to make it easy for Isti here. And if he can hold up Isti for a bit longer, that's going to allow Sherlock to catch up and start fighting as well. But all this squabbling between positions 2, 3 and 4 is going to allow Spicy Boy to extend his advantage, as Vic was going incredibly slowly out of Hickett's. Side by side, Vinegar breaks earlier, and Isti has finally taken P2. With less than 17 minutes of the race to go, I'm wondering if there's... Surely there should be pit stops at some point, but maybe the race is not long enough. And Vic now under threat from Sherlock as he's going up farm, or whatever this corner is called. Under threat from the Porsche, and the long-standing Ferrari 1234 has seemingly come to a permanent end here. Is Sherlock gonna take a look up the inside of Village? Can he make the move stick as he takes a bit too much sausage curb? Is not going to be able to do it just yet. Being forced wide by the 296 as Isti closing the gap to Spicy Boy ahead. It looks like Isti is going to take another victory as Metternich going really wide in the background. Shark inside for Brooklands. It's going to turn to the inside, outside for Luffield. Got a bit of a tank slapper on the exit. Still not able to make the move just yet. Can he do it into Cops? Or out of Cops? This neck and neck again. Oh, a bit of contact. He's going to have to hold off for a little bit longer. Meanwhile, Isti catching Spicy Boy, but maybe not as fast as he would like. The gap is less than 0.4 of a second. Gap between Vic and Sherlock was 0.066 at the start-finish line. It's now 0.259, or 0.26 basically. And Sherlock's going to be feeling a little bit desperate. He wants to get past. But Vic making that the widest Ferrari in the world. Meanwhile, Isti getting closer and closer. Is like a shark in the water. Though still not quite able to make the move. Spicy appears to have a faster car on the straights. Isti attempting a switchback maneuver, but Spicy Boy had the inside. And Sherlock still not ahead of Vic. Isti gonna have the inside, and Spicy Boy looked like he locked up a little bit. He has the inside for Luffield, but it's not gonna be enough. Isti takes the lead in through Brooklands. And was this ever really in doubt? So now the fight is for third place. Can Sherlock take that final step on the rostrum? It's going to be difficult. Vic has been making this 296 incredibly wide, incredibly difficult to get past. But Sherlock will have to do this if he wants that podium. 6.2 seconds to Spicy Boy in front, and Sherlock has had a much better exit out of Beckett's, but his car doesn't appear to be fast enough in a straight line. Brakes a bit later than Vic. Goes around the outside of Stowe, and he takes P3 just in time for Vale, but Vic is going to be fighting back, but not for very long. Having the outside at Vale has hurt him, and Sherlock finally splits the two pairs of Ferraris. There's a Ferrari on either side. Two Ferraris on either side even. Isti and Spicy Boy, Hick Vinegar and Jesse Metternich. In the same order, actually. 296 and 488. And 296 and 488. Going further down the field, Christian Dawn trying to get past Jabber again, I think, for P7. And that's a move made easily enough. Jabber has not put up much of a fight on that occasion, but maybe it was a very long fight that I just wasn't watching because more interesting things were going on. And now it's time for Christian Dawn to zoom off into the distance and make this a boring race again. At least we had some spiciness happening. Hasn't been all bad. But I couldn't be bothered to commentate over the qualifying session. It was just boring. Oh, Bomberclat having something going wrong. No, he's making way for Krebs, who is unlapping himself once, I think that is. Yeah, he's Krebs is a lap down. He has just unlapped himself on Bomberclat, but he's got a long way to go, and he's realistically not going to unlap himself completely. The best he can do is P11 a lap down. So yeah, there we go. That's the race more or less finished, unless Jesse Metternich has anything to say about it. We'll see what he can do. He appears to be closing in on Vic now. There have been no pit stops aside from one person stopping for damage, I think. The gap has closed. It was 2 seconds. It's now 1.2. So Metternich not out of the fight just yet, despite that spin at Stowe. Gradually catching Vic's 296, and I just wonder why Vic is so slow. His tyres shot? Did he mess up his setup? Well, the gap has pretty much stayed the same. Vic going a bit wide at Copse. The gap does appear to have fallen a little bit as we head onto the hangar straight once again. And that's definitely not 1.2 seconds. It's closer to 0.8. No, 0.559. So Vic definitely a slower car as he gets a tank slapper going through Stowe. It's going to compromise his run into Vale, and that gap closing more and more. It does look like that Jesse Metternich, one-time race leader, might be able to make his way past, but not if he keeps making moves like that. Going wide. Oh, and he spins again. I don't think he made contact. I think... yeah, there we go. That was looking like it was going to be exciting, and then... Why is he sticking to the runoff? I don't know. Now he's under threat from Slovak, but I don't think it's going to be a lasting threat. Metternich has been faster than Slovak all weekend. Oh, evening rather. Well, we might have another battle on our hands between Jabber and Angel, fighting over P8. That white and purple Audi R8 chasing down the red and white Duff Aston Martin. Gap has fallen to 0.8 seconds. And listen to that V8 engine. V10 engine, rather. My mistake. And Jabber, once again, manhandling his car through Copse. He just doesn't seem to be able to get some of these turns right, and that's going to... it's just really costing him so many positions in this race. He just goes so wide at some corners, or uses way too much steering lock. He's had a bit of a better Maggots and Beckett's. 0.545 at the start-finish line. What's it going to be at 0.753 at the first sector split? Less than 6 minutes to go. If Angel wants to get past Jabber, he's got to do it soon. Very soon, but not if he makes tank slappers like that. Jesse Metternich might actually be under threat from Slovak here. He's just got to hold on for a few more laps. Oh, and Angel goes onto the grass. It's not going to help him out in the short term. He's closed the gap again by a little bit, down to below 0.6 of a second. keep an eye on that gap between Metternich and Slovik. 0.787. So Slovik might actually be in with a chance for P5 here. I think Metternich's, because of those two spins, his tyres might be a little bit shot. And Angel not able to capitalise on Jabber's mistakes. The gap between them has grown to 1 second. Metternich absolutely under threat from Alexei Slovik here now. 0.787 at the start-finish line, 0.573 at the first sector split, and Metternich is going around again. And that's cost him another position. And Slovak, who thought that maybe the best he could do this weekend, this evening rather, would be P6, he's now in P5. And Metternich, who was leading the race at one point, for quite a while actually, now finds himself in 6th place after spinning, well, once, actually no, definitely twice, and then having a big old tank slapper. Krebs, he's no threat, he's still 2 laps down. Oh, Bomberclad's had a spin or something at Vale. Metternich is still holding on to Slovak. He wants that 5th place back if he can manage it. But there's 3 minutes of the race remaining. Plus 1 lap, potentially. And yes, the tyres definitely screaming for mercy. Jesse's best lap was a 201.2. Last lap was a 205. So to go 4 seconds slower, yeah, definitely the tyres not doing quite so well. And really, this is the only battle left on track now. Everyone else, the gaps have grown. Jabber has been passed by Angel. It seems he's made a mistake at some point. Don't know what happened there. Maybe he went wide at Cops again. But Angel now up into 8th place. Meanwhile, Jesse Metternich still holding on to Slovak. He's got to really get his go pants on now. He's not got a lot of time left. Meanwhile, Isti is about to cross the finish line, and this will more than likely be the final lap.
Leaders on final lap now.
Yep, the final lap of the session. And, you know, credit to Spicy Boy. Put it on pole after Isti decided not to take part. Unless there was some rule that said he couldn't take part. And he's held on to these high positions for quite a while. Oh, tank slapper though. He's really tempting the commentator's curse here. And Sherlock has actually managed to close the gap to Spicy Boy by quite a bit, but it's not gonna really last. Also, the gap between Vic and Slovak. No, Slovak and Metternich, actually, my mistake. That's grown to almost 2 seconds, so yeah, there's no more battles on track anymore. This is your finishing order. As Krebs is given the blue flag, so make way for Angel. .42 in the 55. The gap is still fairly close, but unless Alexei Shlovik makes a big mistake, Jesse Metinek is not going to be able to get past. Meanwhile, this has been your imperious race leader twice over. I don't know why he decided to give Vic the victory in the sprint race, but he's finally taken victory tonight, or will take victory in just a few seconds' time, unless he decides to have fake engine issues again. No, he's not. He's taking the checkered flag.
The leader has finished the race.
Isti takes the victory with a lap time just 1.9 seconds slower than his previous best. Spicy Boy takes P2. Sherlock will take P3. Vic Vinegar will have to settle for P4. Meanwhile, Alexei Shlovik will take P5 ahead of Jesse Metinek, who is probably wondering what this race might have been had he just been able to keep his car on the track. Christian Dorn will finish on ahead of his teammate on track. His teammate being Fabian Krebs, but after Krebs had a crash or something, he's 2 laps down. So whilst they're finishing one after the other on track, Fabian Krebs is P11. Big Jabber will take P8 after something happened to Angel. So, yeah, Angel takes P8. And John Bomberclat will take technically P10. As someone ahead of them has just retired, well, left the session. And he's got his indicators going. Yay! There we go. There's a car number 71? What? Ah, I see. Brian Wilson was the other car. He left 15 laps ago. And Fusion 19 laps ago. So he had a 20-lap race. Fusion left after just 1 lap, and Wilson left after a few. But there we go. That has been your GT3 session tonight. I guess it has been a bit more exciting. I think next week is the last session of the current season. Yeah, I don't know what the standings are like because I wasn't given them, so... Oh well. And that is...
Green light, green light. Go, go, go.
That is all she wrote for the session today. Meow. We'll catch you next week for more GT3, as we have just there's not going to be a Formula 1 stream this Sunday because there's not enough demand for the league, the F1 22 League anymore. No one really likes the game anymore. The game used to have pretty decent handling, but no one likes the handling anymore because the AI was too good. And apparently the only way you could make the AI worse, a bit less overpowered, was to completely change the physics system. Wonderful. Ignore the fact that it says next week is Misano. It is not Misano next week. It is, if I can find the calendar... Oh, it's not. Okay, next week is not the final race. It is the penultimate round, 28th of April, at Brands Hatch, which is actually a few miles away from me. Sort of. I'm not that far away from it. But there we go. We'll catch you next week at Brands Hatch. And until then... have a good one, folks, and good night.